We've all done it. Click, scribble, toss it in a bag. The ballpoint pen is so common, we barely even think about it. But what if I told you this simple object was born from a journalist's frustration, a forgotten dream, and a race for technology that literally changed the world? Before this little pen came along, writing was a messy, high-stakes affair. It was a world of leaky fountain pens, ruined documents, and constantly ink-stained fingers. For centuries, the elegant fountain pen was the best tool for the job, but it was far from perfect. The standard water-based inks it used could take ages to dry, smudged easily, and had a nasty habit of leaking, especially with pressure changes like on an airplane. This was a universal annoyance, but it wasn't until the 1880s that someone tried to invent a better way. His name was John J. Loud, a leather tanner who got a patent for the first ballpoint pen in 1888. Loud needed to mark his leather heights, but a pencil wouldn't work and a fountain pen was a disaster. His invention had a small metal ball at the tip that could roll thick ink onto a rough surface. It was a genius idea with one fatal flaw. While it worked on leather, the mechanism was far too coarse for writing on paper. The world wasn't quite ready, and Loud's patent eventually expired, leaving his concept to be forgotten for nearly 50 years. Fast forward to the 1930s, when that same frustration sparked a new revolution. Our hero is Laszlo Biro, a Hungarian journalist who was completely fed up with his fountain pen. His eureka moment came during a visit to a newspaper printing press, where he saw that the thick, oil-based ink dried almost instantly, leaving the paper perfectly clean. He tried loading this newspaper ink into his fountain pen, but it was too goopy to flow. Biro realized he didn't just need new ink, he needed a whole new pen. He teamed up with his brother, Georgi, a chemist, and together they perfected the idea Loud had pioneered decades earlier. They created a new, thicker ink and paired it with a tiny, rotating ball bearing at the pen's tip. This ball sealed the ink from the air to keep it from drying out, but it rolled that ink smoothly onto the page when it was time to write. In 1938, they filed their patent for the first truly commercial ballpoint pen. This wasn't just a clever gadget, it was the answer to a problem that had annoyed writers for generations. If you're enjoying this story of innovation, take a moment to subscribe. We tell the secret histories of everyday objects, just like this one, every single week. As World War II broke out, the Biro brothers, who were Jewish, were forced to flee Europe. They settled in Argentina, started a factory, and began producing their pen, calling it the Biro. And this is where their invention got its first big break. Britain's Royal Air Force needed a pen that pilots could use at high altitudes without it exploding from the pressure changes. Fountain pens were a disaster, but the Biro design worked flawlessly. The British government licensed the design, not the Biro brand itself, for its aircrews, and suddenly, this humble writing tool was a strategic piece of wartime technology. After the war, the ballpoint exploded. An American entrepreneur, Milton Reynolds, spotted the Biro on a trip to Buenos Aires. He saw the massive potential, rushed back to the US, and reverse-engineered the design to get around Biro's patent. He launched his Reynolds rocket in 1945, marketing it as a futuristic pen that could write for years. The launch was a sensation. Thousands were sold on the first day at a New York department store. Despite a huge price tag of $12.50, the equivalent of around $200 today, the pen race had officially begun. In the following years, other companies like Parker and a French newcomer, BIC, which introduced its famous crystal pen in 1950, would refine the technology, making it reliable, cheap, and ultimately disposable. The ballpoint pen changed the world in ways we rarely appreciate. By making writing clean, affordable, and accessible to everyone, it helped fuel a global rise in literacy, empowered students, and streamlined how business was done. It truly put the power of the written word in billions of hands. Even today, the ballpoint remains a symbol of practical creativity, a tool that's always ready to go. So the next time one up, Take a second to remember the decades of struggle and genius you're holding. It's proof that even the simplest objects can have a world-changing story.